As you've already seen in the training videos, you have many fields that you can insert as columns here. Well, what if you want to create your own custom field to hold whatever information that you want to type in it? Let's say we want to do one for deliverables. And deliverables are things that need to be delivered. For example, task 7, creating an outline, writer 1 needs some documents in order to go ahead and do his job to complete the task. What I can do is I can go ahead and create a custom field, insert it over to the left-hand side here, or wherever I want within the table, and type in the documents that need to be delivered in order for this task to be completed. So to create this custom field, come up here and click on the Project tab, go to the Properties group and click on Custom Fields. Come up here and choose whether you want it for a task or a resource, then over to the right, the type of data that it's going to be within that field. Let's go ahead and keep it simple, text. And then over and down below you can see that you have, when I scroll down, up to 30 text fields that project has in which you can customize or add data to. So for text 1, I don't know about you, but that doesn't remind me that that's a deliverables field. So go ahead and select it, come down here and click rename and type in the name that you want to use this field for, or the purpose of this field. And it's for deliverables. Go ahead and click OK, and then notice while it adds the name that you want to give it, it keeps its original name here. Because when you're done using this and you delete it, it recycles it and says, hey, text 1, so to speak, is now available. Well, it may not be available if you didn't rename it. You may be using it for something else, but in any case, you get the point. It recycles it and it doesn't delete the actual field. It just says, hey, this field is now in use. Okay. So go ahead and click on rename and then click OK, and that's it. Go ahead and click Okie dokie, and then to insert the custom field into your table, just right-click on any column header, go down to Insert Column, and then when it comes to finding that custom field, don't go by the name that you gave it because you're not going to find it. Remember, this is projects field that you're borrowing or that you want to customize, so you have to go off its default name, which as you recall was text 1. So type in text, and there we go, text 1, and then in parentheses is deliverables. So from behind the scenes, project says, yeah, you're going to go ahead and use this as deliverables, but this is the name that I see it as. Then after we go ahead and select it, and from the front end, project says, I'll get out of the way, I'll go ahead and have the title, the name that you gave it, and then in that pop-up you can see in parentheses, it says, by the way, hey, this is my field here, and this is how I recognize it as text 1. So go ahead, after you insert it, go down to task 7 and type in your documents that need to be delivered to this person, writer 1, in order for them to complete the outline, which is Spiffy document 1 and Spiffier document 2. Hit enter, and if the column's too wide and you're like, wow, it's taking up a lot of space and I don't have a 50-inch wide monitor, then come up here, hover in between the two column headers and click and drag to pull it in, okay? And then if you're like, oops, I cannot see what's in that cell now, go ahead and hover over it. You get a pop-up, or go ahead and select it, and if you have the entry bar up, then you can read the contents therein. And as you recall, to bring up the entry bar, come up here, click on the File tab, go down to Options, select Display, and there you go, check Entry Bar. Click OK, and there you go. Okay, let's go ahead and kick this up a notch. Let's create another custom field, but something with more functionality. Like for example, let me come up here and right-click on the table header cell and change it from Entry to Work. And when I'm looking at these two columns here, comparing the actual work hours that came in versus the original plan, and you can see up here it says baseline, but when you hover over it, it's the baseline work hours. That when I'm looking at task 3, you can see that what actually came in was 32 hours, which was below the baseline plan of 40 hours. Okay, down below here, we have something that's above. The actual that came in was 18 hours, which is 2 hours above the baseline of 16 hours. I don't know about you, but when it comes to comparing data back and forth, it's a lot easier for me if I have something graphically to go by. As you can see over here, it's easy to quickly identify where we're at in general as a summary than to come over here and go, okay, let's get really nitpicky. Let's see, this hour off by 2 hours, that one's off by 8 hours. I just want something that's a quick summary that says, hey, look, we're either above the baseline as far as the actuals are coming in, or we're below it. And then if it's above it, then I want to quickly go ahead and dissect it and come over here and compare the numbers. Otherwise, I don't want to sit here and scan through all this again, okay? Or maybe another project manager. I can help them out by setting this up. a custom field that has graphical indicators to get a summary of the project, and then according to, if we're above or below plans, whatever he finds important, can then go ahead and get analytical by seeing exactly how many hours we're above or below. So to create this custom field, come up here on the Project tab in the Properties group, click on Custom Fields, and then we already have deliverables for the Text1 custom field. Let's go ahead and select Text2 and rename that so we know what it's going to be used for. It's going to be the Workload Summary. So we can get a quick idea by graphical indicators that we're going to be inserting if we're below the baseline or above. Click OK, and we want to look up values. In other words, I don't want to type in text. I want to control the data input by me or by somebody else and say, look, you just can't type in anything. You have to choose between one of these values. So when I select lookup, I can go ahead and set those values where it's got to be above, hit enter, or below, hit enter. I'm controlling the data input. And then down below it says you can check this to use a value from the table as a default entry for the field. If nothing's checked and you just check that, then, well, it's going to be blank. The default will be blank. But if you want to say, okay, every task is going to be defaulted to above, select it and click on Set Default, and you can see it's in bold. But if you want to leave it blank and not set it, then, well, uncheck it, check it again, and the default value is going to be, well, neither one of these is in bold, so it's going to be blank. Close out, and then we're back to our main custom field screen. And so we can get the lookup values, and if I click OK, and I come up here and let's right click on the variance column and insert the custom field here, go down to Insert Column. And remember, you can't type in the name of the custom field that you gave to the custom field, which was Workload Summary. It's got to be the name that project has set for that field, which is Text2. There it is, Text2, in parentheses, the name that we gave it, or assigning to it, Workload Summary. And then, like I said, by default, it's all empty. And then I can come down here and say, okay, let's see, we're below the baseline. Select it. I control the input. They can't come in here and just start typing in text and hit enter and expect project to be happy, because it doesn't go with the values that were set for that field. Now, I can look at this and go, okay, above and below, but I want something graphical that I can quickly identify and not have to read. I want a happy face if we're below and a frowny face if we're above. So to customize the field here, let me click off in another field so I can come back up here on the Project tab and click Custom Fields. We can go ahead and select that, and it still shows that it's in lookup. It's not changed, and it won't change unless we go ahead and select none or delete. And I want to come down here and say, instead of displaying the data of above or below, I want to set that data to equal certain graphical indicators. So click on Graphical Indicators and say equals, hit the tab key. The value, which was we set as above, is going to pull in this image. And click on the drop down arrow, and we got a frowny face. Oh, that's so sad. And then how about equals for the other value, which is below? And when we get below the baseline, we got a happy face. Let's go ahead and click Okie dokie and click Okie dokie, and oh, that's beautiful. And like I said, if it's above, oh, we're not too happy. So a quick summary that I can quickly identify, or have somebody else who's perusing through my project and go, Kurt told me just to look at the frowny faces. I mean, he's not very professional. What kind of person talks about frowny faces? This is a professional project. Well, this gives them a quick overview of what task that needs to be viewed and scrutinized in more detail, and talk to the resource or resources that have been assigned to it and say, why are you over by a couple of hours? Or maybe they look at this and go, okay, it's a frowny, but a couple hours, that's not a big deal. Okay, let's go ahead and customize the workload summary and do it from a formula perspective. In other words, come up here, click on Custom Fields, select Work Summary, and instead of looking up a value, let's go ahead and change it to formula. Now, once we do that, it's going to say, hey, any existing data in this field is going to be thrown out because you're changing. And let's go ahead and click OK. Select formula, and I'm going to insert a function. Now, if you watch my Excel 2010 training videos on functions, you'll have an idea what I'm talking about. The function that I'm going to be using is the if function. And you can see the syntax: if this expression or this test, and you type in the test, and I'll show you that in just a second, is true, then do this. If it's false, then do that. Let me go ahead and select it so it adds it up here. And let's come in here and delete expression or replace expression with a field. And the field that I want to look at, let me click on the field drop down arrow, is go down to work. And I want my actual work here. It does say actual work, but also we can use this field as well for actuals and say that if work is greater than, in other words, the baseline, which I gotta, hit the space bar, click on the drop down arrow, go back to work, and we go to baseline work, and we come up here and we select baseline work. See if this makes sense. If the actuals that come in are greater or more than what the original plan was, then if it's true, let's go ahead and double click and type over true with open quotes and say, oh poop. And if it's false, double click, type in good. Click OK. Existing data again in the summary fields will be deleted. Click OK again. And the graphical indicator that we used when we click graphical indicator is not above or below. Remember, it is oh poop, and that's good. And click OK, and there we go. And you can see that you don't get any options to come in here, type in anything, or change the faces. It's a static formula. And here's the oh poop, the frowny face, and if you'd rather see the text because it's funnier than looking at the graphic indicators, then customize the field, set it to data, click okie dokie, and oh poop, that's funny, poop. And then one last thing that I want to show you how you can customize is a flag field. Come up here, click on Customize Fields. Let's come over here and click on the drop down arrow and do a flag. Now, the Customize Flag field is nothing more than just a field that you can customize and create and insert as a column based upon yes or no values. So if it's yes, you can have an icon if you'd like an icon or indicator of something in the color green, let's say, signifying that it's complete or that you're happy with what's going on with that task. Or if no, you can leave it empty or give it a red flag. So there we go, flag 1. And then we can come down here and do graphical indicators. And we can say that if it equals, and we can set the value, yes, then give it the image. I'm all about happy faces. And if it equals the value no, then we can say, give it, scroll down, frowny face and click OK, click OK. Insert that custom flag field, right click on it from variants, go down to insert, type in flag. We don't have a name for it, but we know it's flag 1. Select it. Everybody's frowny by default until we go ahead and change them. That, hey, that task has been completed, or that task has deliverables, and this task has had the deliverables handed to them, or whatever the meaning for that yes and no, or that happy and frowny face that you insert as a custom field could mean to you as far as the association with those tasks will be. So you can come back up here, custom fields, flag 1, rename it, type it in, complete, and click OK, and then it updates it here, complete deliverables. Okay.
Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.